so welcome back to my barn blog. So I have Tink here, and I just kind of wanted to do a little video because this is one thing that I see people doing, and I don't blame the people. I guess I want to blame the trainers or, you know, the bad advice people are getting. So when you have a horse that's very nippy, a lot of people like to either smack them in the muzzle or smack them in the face, and I am totally against any kind of abuse in any way. I think if you're having a problem with your horse, you know, and it is, you know, they are biting, the best thing to do is to solve it on the ground and with groundwork, and I'm going to show you some techniques that you can use. So one thing is to, when you're trying to stop biting, you have to look where it's coming from. Is it coming because the horse is stressed? Is it coming because you're hand feeding them carrots? Is it coming because of aggression? What is it coming from? And second of all, ask yourself the question, when you first purchased your horse, or even now, did you spend the time to go back to basics? Did you spend the time to do groundwork? Because I find that most people don't do a lot of groundwork with their horse. They just want to get on it, ride it, and I get that, you know, but we have to take the time to establish rules. We have to take the time to establish a relationship, is what I call it, with our animals. So I'm going to show you a few things you can do on the ground, and then I'm also going to show you things that you can do in the stall, also like during feeding, that would help with aggression and ways to combat this. So let's say I'm with Tink. Come on, I'm going to walk him away from the hay. And let's say, you know, we're standing here, we're standing together, and the camera can come on this side. And we're standing together, and let's say he's coming towards me, you know, for whatever reason. I'm going to just, I'm going to like push him away like this, right here, okay? We don't want to sit here and slap our horses. We want to just push their faces away. And second of all, I'm not going to be in his space until I know that I feel safe that he's not going to bite me. So that's another thing too. I want to build this relationship before I let him in my space. Now, when it comes to space, we should be able to go into their space, but technically they cannot come into ours. So when it comes to space building, I'm going to have Tink right here. You're going to have a lunge whip or something, and you're just going to swing it. See? I'm building space right now. Just by swinging it, he knows that he's not going to be into my space because he's going to get whacked by it. So I'm going to do the same thing again. See? I don't care. I'm not whacking him in the face, but I'm walking right through him. You see that? He's backing off because he knows. Here's another thing. I want to go right into him, and he's going to get it. I don't care. This is how we build space. Right? So this is, like I said, something you can do on the ground, and you walk right through them, see? You learn real quick. This is how we teach a horse to stop biting. Groundwork. I'm going to do it again. See? Going right through, and the important thing is to stay on the line. You always want to stay on the line. Another thing we can do is teach back up. Simple. This is just one of many groundwork exercises. Very simple. It shows them how to be in a herd. If this was happening between another horse, two horses coming together, this is the behavior you're going to see. I have hay right here. If I have two horses, I'm going to have one that's going to sit there and push the other one out just the way I did, like this, like Violet's coming, I'm coming, see? That's it. He knows to get out of my way, but that's the same thing if you had any other animal. You're gonna show them, and he's gonna stay out of my space at this point in time. I'm not gonna allow him in until I welcome him into my space. So this is one way to combat biting. Like I said, also the pushing them away instead of, you know, smacking them. And like I said, just the creating the dominance through the groundwork is so important. If they're acting up on the cross ties, get them out. Have them move their feet on the lunge line. Put them back on the cross ties. When they start walking around, get crazy again, bring him out again. This is how we do it. And also, like I said, I'm going to show you in the stall how I demand that, you know, when I'm feeding him his mash, that he has to wait. And that is also part of the process. And also when I feed treats, it's always directly in the feed bin, never directly from my hand to his face. And I know people do it, but you can probably, you know, put a sign on your horse's door, ask them not to. That would be the best choice. You know, instead of just letting people hand feed them and so forth, you really want to create that balance. And look at Tink, he's not afraid of me just because I have this in my hand, because this is an extension of my hand and I did it the right way. I was not aggressive, I was fair. And that's what it's all about with being around horses. They want you to be fair. If you're fair and you're doing it the right way and you're saying, hey, I'm coming at you, this is my space, and you have to listen, they're gonna listen. Okay, Kate, you could just take that off. So I'm getting Tink out again. He's walking towards me. I love him. I just said, you ready? And here he goes. So getting back to the talk about before. So horses are prey animals. We expect them to put a saddle on. We expect them to be bridled. We expect them to not act the way they do and act like humans. And they do not speak our language. They speak the language of Equus, which is horses. And, you know, through all our training, we try to get them to the point where they are tolerant of us, and you know, we can all work together. And you know, times we want them to do tricks and stuff, and it happens all the time, and I get that, but we forget that these animals are horses, and at the end of the day they still have to behave like a horse, whatever that looks like. And you know, we have to work together, and you know, we don't want to break them in the sense of trying to work together. We want to be mindful of what we're doing and mindful of how we're treating them, because you know, I think of it like this. If you have a small child and let's say they're going around biting people or you know, doing something disrespectful, you're not going to necessarily smack them, you know, in the face or something. I at least wouldn't. I wouldn't smack my children. I would probably give them a timeout, or I'd teach them in human ways how to behave. But this is a horse, so we have to, you know, go down to their way of thinking and their way of understanding. So this is why when we're working together, we have to, you know, work as one and use horse language. So here we go into the stall again. He's coming behind me and he knows. Just follow.
Yeah, I got into one.
Where'd you go?
LA now.
Alright.
He's got lots of hay here. He's got lots of snacks. He's worried about the hay. He's gonna look. But I'm also gonna show you, like I said, when it comes to feeding him. Oh,
Tiki, look.
Cadence, what are you doing? Nope, nope. He can't have a carrot like that. What did I just tell you?
I'm
Remember?
being nice.
No, we
What
don't.
else I have to do?
You have to put it in the bucket, because this is how we create food aggression.
Food aggression.
Never ever hand
Never,
feed them. Put it in the bucket.
We put it in the bucket.
And don't tease him either.
Yeah.
Just put it in there. See, we cannot do that. We cannot feed our horses from our hands. It has to be out of the bucket. And this is how we stop food aggression and also biting. Okay, now so I'm gonna give Tink his mash. I have his feed bucket right here, and I have the mash. I'll show you it right here. So he knows every day this is the drill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it in. And you see, he's not even like trying to even like come near me. He just backs off until I kind of give him the cue. So this is how you solve food aggression as well. Even if you're going to give them hay, I would suggest having them back up for a minute, telling them to wait, and then you give it to them, and then wait for a nice response that you're looking for, and then you give it to him. So now he's allowed to go and have the food.